My name is Gaston J. Willette, and I perceive myself as an ambassador of virtues. I would like to thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation entitled KaHUna, an Hawaiian card game that brings the Aloha Spirit into your life. So where did this card game come from? In the early spring of 2021, I began to consider where I needed to be to fulfill my life's mission. Maui was the chosen destination. So during this time, I began to sell my house, close my business, sell and give away almost everything I owned. I drove across the East Coast to the port of Matson, Oakland, California, to ship my vehicle and trailer to my new residence. However, during my trip, I decided to stop in the middle of my journey in Minneapolis for the weekend to rest. On October 22nd, during my contemplations, I kept asking myself inwardly with determination, what could I give back to Hawaii upon my return, which I had already lived there many years earlier? Like a flash of genius from the great Aloha Spirit, immediately after receiving this vision or gift, I sat down and designed a box and composed a vocabulary for this game. I was shown with clarity the benefit this would bring to so many Hawaiian children, learning their language in a fun way. After all, what better way to learn than to have fun with those you love? As soon as I arrived on Maui on October 30th, I started looking for a graphic designer and someone to translate all my text into Hawaiian. I must admit that this task was far more difficult than I had anticipated. On every conceivable front, I experienced countless resistance from every possible direction. So after 2 months, I had exhausted my circle of friends, old contacts, and every possible network looking for help with this project. Yes, to say the least, I was very discouraged because I kept on asking myself over and over, why so much effort for so little result? All this resistance persisted until the end of the project. As you may know, the Aloha Spirit, better known in Hawaii as the Aloha Spirit, always has our best interests at heart, especially when we choose and desire to serve our fellow man. So on the afternoon of December 31st, I decided to give myself a break and book myself a New Year's Eve party. I called the Pride of Maui, a tour vessel, and asked if there were any single in this party tonight and if we could dance. I was told that yes, there were, and that there would be a DJ on board. That was all I needed to dance the night away and welcome the new year. When I arrived, I could see the lineup from a distance. However, I was disenchanted because all there were couple cuddling side by side, dressed to party. But I consoled myself by saying inwardly, no problem, it's all good. I'll be able to dance the night away. After we left, the music started playing. I was so happy. We were going to dance the New Year's Eve together. Being a bit shy, I stayed at the very front of the boat, watching all the fireworks explode all over the land. I have to admit, it was the most incredible view I've ever seen. While I was patiently waiting for the music to carry me away, as it always does, surprisingly, the music went from celebrating to get me a bucket. Yes, the DJ got sick, followed by many others. So instead of dancing, I decided to pray and ask the Aloha Spirit, the Holy Spirit, if you will, for help. As I stood at the end of the bow, I yelled loudly, very loudly, many times over, hoping with all my heart that I would be heard or that I would hear a message. So I kept asking louder and louder with each passing wave. I knew that no one could hear me up front. Everyone was seasick behind me. I was shouting in French and in English, "Give me a sign, Holy Spirit, if you want me to continue this Hawaiian card game." I was so disappointed and discouraged at that time in so many ways. That's when a humpback whale approached the bow of the boat, where I had been standing since the start. It blew its misty water all over me. The captain yelled into the intercom that he had never seen a whale come so close to the boat before. I stood there, wondering doubtfully, "Is this your sign, Holy Spirit? Because if it is, it's just not enough." A few minutes later, the whale came by once more and blew its majestic holy water all over me again. Tears of bliss began to roll down my cheek, and I laughed out loud with joy. The captain reacted in the same way as before. I stood there with honor, like one of those ancient KaHUna who looked up at the star and expressed my gratitude because I was shown that I should move forward with this project. Once I took my attention off the night sky, I began to dance where I was, rejoicing in this incredible blessing that had just happened in my life. Then the whale returned again, this time to celebrate with me. My mission must be, yes, to bring forth the KaHUna card game to Hawaii. From a distance, I could hear thousands of people celebrating the new year. Was this their way of expressing their love for the Aloha Spirit with their song, celebrating the coming blessings? In April of 2022, I reached my goal of completing this amazing deck of cards that I am sure will touch many more people than the stars that lit up my heavenly sky on that New Year's Eve. To have the courage to listen is to dare oneself to be loved, yes, even by a whale if needed. To love is to listen, and to listen is to love. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Mahalo nui.